to my ayahuasca experience. To give you a little bit of the mountains here in the back. View is, it is what it is right now, the weather. Well, anyway, where were we? Okay, I took ayahuasca 3 times. I advise you, if you go to Peru or these places, be advised it is an induced near-death experience, meaning the brain will biochemically release DMT as if you were dying, meaning your life is being reviewed. You're going through it, more or less, depending on what access you have. I was given the ultimate access to the source, and I realized I'm also familiar with that source. Also, it is a rites of passage of the natives to use that. That should be worldwide allowed and not be touched by any law. This has to be used by a shaman that knows what he's doing. You never know. What happened to me was I met a shaman that actually, you can say, it was out of his jurisdiction where I went. So I'll give you a sum up of the 3 adventures, because they kind of, it's like a storyline, like you hit pause and then you hit pause again, you hit pause again. It's one continuous movie that changed my entire life. So when I took that vine, I was shown a path in my life where things could lead, and in order for me to understand where they could lead, it was shown to me, how does that feel? What's the resonance going there? And if it feels uncanny, sick, and death and all of that stuff, at an old age, not having accomplished what you want to accomplish and not having a joy, you will get to feel the future timeline. If that really comes across that way and you are designed in that way to perceive it. Others have visions of the snake coming and being devoured, and the classical... I didn't have the classical ayahuasca experience at all. It was fantastic, nevertheless. For some starseeds, I would even say it's not recommended because you're already switched on. It's, if you're a sensitive being, imagine 30 years of lifetime progressive hypnotherapy and smashed into one night, and then, you know, months after having to recover that, and the fasting, and, you know, following the instructions that are very strict, otherwise it won't work, or it gets disastrous if you eat the wrong thing before that, because it has a Mayo inhibitor, which is an enzymic system that prevents your stomach from defending itself by breaking down DMT before it reaches the brain. That can make a banana toxic if you eat that before the ritual. So that's why fasting is very strict, and you gotta really, really stick to the rules. So the story began. I'm sitting in a chair, and I'm being shaken, and I have these monks around me. I'm in this temple. I see these cosmic guardians in the temple, and these monks around me in robes coming from these other realms, and I've seen Aztecian, probably Lemurian, way, way, way ancient dudes. One dude reappeared here on Kauai, so there must be a connection. Also the 111 keeps reappearing, which is a longitude of which Sedona is on. I think that Kauai has something to do connecting to Sedona. So Sedona and Kauai, very clear Lemurian energy, like, oh my God. So you read these templates here, I realize why I'm here now, because these images that were given on ayahuasca kind of completes the template being here. But you have to know this, you have to find that out. It's a journey and a half, I tell you. I mean, how'd you feel? You live in Germany, you're realizing your relationship is not your soul path anymore. That pact is over, and you have to make a move according to what the spirit is telling you. So out of nowhere, you got to switch and change everything and open everything up, which is what I did. Relationship and everything, and lost the apartment and got kicked out. All of this, you know, got triggered. Like, you get triggered into your soul path, actually. So these monks were healing me in that vision. I literally crossed. Mind you, I had a pre-traumatic birth experience where I crossed before I even came here, when my father and my brother died in a car crash. So I know the other side. This is not a gimmick here. I'm not a Stasi because this is a trend. I'm not Arcturian or Ra because this is the most eventful thing that you can pick. This was given to me in visions where I was, what I was living under and as, and integrating this energy into this vessel, resonating it out to help uplift the consciousness. It's not an easy task, plus there's no physical proof. It's only my own experience and how my mindkinism, as my mind mechanics, translate that image into this is what it is, and then I have to bring the physical proof with the technology that is partially channeled and inspired and created to show you that what I actually bring to this planet, there's a means to it, and it doesn't matter who, under what rulership you are, in what country you are. It's about uplifting consciousness that has no name tag. And if consciousness gets uplifted, certain systems will be disintegrated. That's all, and that all came through in the ayahuasca trip. Also, with respect to the vine, is and I tried to decipher the ayahuasca code. Something got very angry. I don't know if it was a demonic being. It wouldn't have me access certain pathways, which I accessed later on anyway, stepping through my fear, like my inner inferno of assumption, assuming fear, delusional creations of things that are actually not real, and really realizing in life what's real in your life and bringing that into your life. So ayahuasca was very helpful in psychologically setting that straight, that I have to follow my intuition, not my logic. The logic is more the documenter. If that recorder is faulty, then the information that's being translated, of course, is crappy. We want that information to be clear, crystal clear, Christ all clear. That has to do with crystals, and being the crystalline water body, bringing that in, surrendering to love, meaning that you're the conductor. All of these things I'm giving you right now is what came through on ayahuasca for me, as the picture completes being here in Kauai. Is the surrender to love means that you're a superconductor. You have to surrender to love. Like if I love you, if I show that I have love for you, there is no concept of a friend of mine, I wanted to meet, and she was like, let's schedule that in. There's nothing to schedule. Either you feel it, you are telepathically you're connected, or you're consequentially calculating who you're meeting and you're not connecting because of this or that. That's your logic mind. You're stuck in the left hemisphere. Ayahuasca ultimately synchronizes the two hemispheres and makes you one, brings you back onto infant levels. Also, how can I put it? It brings you to your knees. It's like Armageddon happening in you. And people say that's not for me. I don't know if that's their cowards or their chicken. I don't know. You have to be brave and woman or man enough to step into that realm and know what you're doing. Be safe. Your people have to know where you are, when you are, and with whom you're dealing. Know your source, know the shaman, know the village, know the people that are respected, and then decide for you very clearly what is for you. Have a strong heart, be healthy, no pacemaker, don't be old, because if the ayahuasca, and you're in an older age, let's say over 70, ayahuasca can decide to keep you. People might not like to hear that, but be very, very alert when you do things. There are rules and regulations beyond this world that I have seen people running around with ignorance. Heed the words. Respect the architect. There are things you have to know and be aware where you're going into these structures to come out right and just and knowing what to do. So as the journey continued, these monks were shaking out this black ooze that came out of my pockets, like this, and they were going, and I had like, I don't know, 6 dudes around me, and they shaking me, and I'm sitting in a chair looking like I'm having epilepsy, but nobody touched me because it's part of what you go through. And that night I crossed to the other side. I'd seen spirits pass me, spirits walk past by me, and you kind of like in a 2-year-old mind frame where you're like, huh, you think you just saw somebody, but it was a spirit form. This all can become very visual and very real because it's out there, and you're opening the lid, your third eye cracks open, and you begin to see what's out there. Watch Doctor Strange if you want to see what can happen if somebody can open or touch your third eye and make you see. And interestingly, it happened in Nepal. There are Nepalesian monks that can put their hands on you for 15 minutes and you trip like you're on LSD, because their resonant frequency on of their palms is that strong. They can take you to the netherworld, but they choose. Not everybody's ready to go there. This is a very real and substantial world, and you can bring applications from that world to this world. So going into the ayahuasca trip, in which leading into the storyline, my third trip, wanting to heal my relationship, thinking that I have to fix things that nobody asked me to fix them. I had to learn that. Okay, so ego here, what my will is and my power and whatever, it's not really relevant. And many people, and also on a side note to the haters, if you would take that and you would come from a trip with the wisdom of what Earth and Gaia gives to you, you will not push that button anymore. Because from your soul path and your soul pattern and your soul matrix, you know what to do divinely and what not to do. It's not about opinion here. This is about shareable thought waves about what we experience in this realm. So it's more like in the third trip, I was taken on a spaceship. Blue beings came in and they said, this trip ends here for you. No more ayahuasca for you. I was completely baffled, like the traditional snake in the jungle and all that stuff did not happen. And they took me on a ship and they opened my body and they took these soul particles and soul matrices, as in a soul construct that is a blueprint of my body, and they started fixing it. They looked like grays, but they were not grays. They were more hyperdimensional beings, like upper dimensional layers. Like they wouldn't even manifest on this earth because it was so rugged, it's so dangerous. They could hurt themselves. So they're kind of like blue, dolphin type looking, gray type Asasani mixed beings that were very humble, very loving, very much part of my family. And they were fixing my soul parts and soul particles, and it's like as if I had little receptor sites and antennas in my DNA and RNA connection. So it was explained to me that they reconnected and took enzymic and systemic system programs and changed the programs and took red dots and red writings out and put blue glowing ones in and make it all divine and spinning like a network. If I had to paint that right now, Picasso would look like a fool. I can't paint that. It has passed me by so quick. And then they fixed this and they said, nah, you're ready and you're adjusted for your new soul matrix. It's not even, it's beyond activation what happened to me on ayahuasca. And when I went to the shaman to ask him about the cosmic aspect when these beings come in, he did not know what to say. He said that this is for you. That's not where I'm at. So I left that level. That doesn't make you better or whacker. I felt like a weirdo amongst people that already go psychedelic, you know. I mean, and talk to a guy that trips every weekend, and you tell them that you're seeing elves in the woods, and they go like, and these people trip their brains out. So I know I'm onto something, and I know this is very real and very tangible, and it's very, very clear. It's chest. You can't enter these realms coming in there, you know, I want to see your Sasquatch. It doesn't happen. It's interdimensional, it's hyperdimensional. Most of the beings I learned that visit us are related to us in time templates on upper dimensional layers, such as this beautiful place here, Kauai. And they will talk to you when you're ready. You do not decide when you're ready. It sounds a little bit strict, but I have to believe, if you want to go to the core, you have to be humble, you have to be respectful, and for any clearing that's happening, you got to face all of the stuff that you carry, all the stuff you took on, all the procrastination, all the lies you're telling yourself about what to do and what not to do, thinking you can get away with it. It will be, how do you say, when you die, it's like an ayahuasca moment. And I did it 3 times. So your life is being reviewed. Everything, your crimes and your good deeds, everything is laid out and measured towards you. Like the scale when Anubis checks you if you're a god, Egyptian religion, Kemetic teaching. They measure if your heart is lighter than a feather. This is very real, these rules and regulations. And I'm accumulating more data as we speak, and then I'll make a course to make it tangible for those who don't want to go into these realms or never have been into these realms. Also know this, people talk about elves and fairies and rules. If you've never been in those realms and you've never seen those dudes, I can see it in your aura. I see that every day. When you make up stories, you want to put sugar cubes on a table with some honey and you lure them out. That's not happening. There have been rare cases where somebody put out some cloth in a tree stump and that cloth was gone. So sometimes they come and take. Sometimes if they want to and if they feel like it, they leave physical evidence for you to film. But they decide that, not you. And not no trend ganger or anybody who wishes to have seen elves or sells experience he has not or she has not had. So don't be duped by some esoterics out there that think they know they have found the universal principle for the solution to release the veil. The veil will open according to your soul construct and to your blueprint. Nothing can be accelerated further. So my ayahuasca journey ended. And I thought I have to go back another time to go deeper. And then I went to a psychic in Berlin, Blessed Christine. And she said that a shaman, native spirit appeared in front of her. And it's beginning to rain, so I have to wrap this up. And they said, no more ayahuasca for him. The intent is pure. This is not his path anymore. And then my path switched and changed and catapulted me out of Germany into Sedona and to a nodal point where a lot of ship activity is. Also here, Kalalau, a point where a lot of interdimensional craft come in. If you're sensitive, you can feel it. If you have the money, come here, witness this magical, fantastic place. Look at me, like I feel like it's rejuvenating me, like I got like 5 to 10 years back. I feel excellent. In the rain. I'll walk back, and on that note, with a very private lesson on how and where ayahuasca can affect your life. I went to the flip side several times. That's why I keep mentioning I see you most definitely on the flip side. Peace be with you. You don't know how blessed you are to be on this earth. Have you any idea? And bring that into your heart. I love you very much.